Here we are, folks. The
Welcome
match
back.
of the century. It is
Samus
Alex taking on Joe in a backyard street fight. We're going to the snow to see who would win. Mono a mono.
Oh.
Alex gets the 12-gauge shotgun from the attic.
Wait a
Joe
minute.
has elected to take the hockey stick.
Wait, what?
We'll see if that gamble will pay off.
We've already spread out the broken glass in the backyard.
Alright, I'm gonna head start.
Taps.
It's a shoeless fight.
Alright, we're just fucking with you. So we are in the second match of round one. Samus, or Seamus, as I mistakenly typed into my phone.
Good job.
Versus Doom Guy. Doom Guy getting his second chance.
So is Samus as
Seamus? Space
Seamus?
Irishman?
Yes.
Seamus from Metroid Prime,
Yes.
and specifically Doom Dude from Doom Eternal.
So for those of you that weren't around in our first tournament, which why not? Go back and watch it.
Yeah.
In our first tournament, a little bit of spoiling here. Both of these characters were eliminated in the first round. So they are both back for their redemption. In our first tournament, Samus ended up losing in match number 5 to Mega Man X, who would go on to win the tournament. And Doom Guy was actually eliminated by, I'm going to say his name wrong, isn't it? Erdnot?
Yep, Erdnot Rex.
Erdnot Rex from the Mass Effect series.
That was a close fight.
Let me just speak up for everyone that shit on me for losing that. Rex is a worthy opponent. He is a fucking hermit crab that carries a shotgun. Alright? Get off my asses.
Interestingly enough, both of these characters, the people that respectively defeated each of them, did go on to face each other in the quarterfinals, I believe, in our last tournament.
Yep.
Might have been the semi? Or,
think
no,
so, quarterfinal, yeah.
quarter. So, you know, both of these characters are looking for redemption, and it'll be interesting to see who wins.
Yeah. As the higher rank, Joe, would you like to go first or second?
I will go first.
First is the fucking worst.
As we saw, I did King DDD first.
I mean, well, I guess as the way we're playing, the ranks don't matter, so. Anyway, I'm gonna level with you. I don't know shit about Doom Guy, besides the BFG. So, I'm just gonna lay out what I think is cool about Samus. Samus, we're going Metroid Prime Samus. So, Samus has all the standard arm cannon weapons, power blaster, ice cannon upgrade, flamethrower upgrade, electric blast upgrade, missiles upgrade, morph ball with standard energy bombs and the higher level power bombs. She's got a grappling hook that she can use to throw herself and to throw enemies, and she's got the space boots to double jump. Her suit is waterproof and I believe airtight because she's on extraterrestrial planets. She's got advanced martial arts training and physical conditioning. She's biologically a standard human, but you could compare to like a peak athlete, or perhaps even a little bit beyond a peak athlete. It's kind of like Batman syndrome, kind of like as peak as a regular human can be, with a lot of advanced technology to go with it. The morph ball will allow her to morph down small and roll around or boost out of the way. She can have like a little brief speed boost. I believe the space boots also allow her like instant lateral dodges. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Samus is a formidable fighter. She can all of her energy blasts, she can charge them up to deliver a single larger blast, or can fire constant rapid small blasts. She's fast, she's nimble, the arm cannon packs a punch, and she's skilled with tons of experience in bounty hunting and fighting non-standard creatures across the cosmos. So, I welcome any questions.
So I do actually have a couple.
Somebody give me something. I'm looking forward to a rebuttal because I'm gonna give me something specific about Doom Guy that she has to overcome. Because like I said, I know hardly anything about Doom Guy.
So
8 pages here. Don't worry, you'll have enough.
my question for you right now though is that's a lot of upgrades. How many does she have at the start?
I mean, at the start of Metroid Prime, she's got almost nothing because that's how the game starts. Is you've lost everything, and the course of the game is reacquiring all of your upgrades. At the start of the game, I think all she has is the standard arm cannon, no missiles, no different energy weapons, and basic morph ball. I don't even know if she has a speed boost.
And I want to add, with these upgrades, these are permanent upgrades. They're not
Yes, they
like
are.
power-ups
Yeah,
or
you
anything.
get you get them, and then the only thing that's not permanent is the power bomb and which is the morph ball bomb, not just the basic energy bomb, but like the larger structure wrecking bomb, and the arm cannon missiles have ammo limitations, but that's it.
How does she get the upgrades?
You just kind of go through the game and defeat creatures and get into secret places and grab them, and they're instant upgrades.
And as we kind of said with these rules, I think we go full loadout too. So because they're not power-ups, I think we would assume that both are packing full inventories.
Yeah, it's not like a Mario Kart item where you get a temporary boost, you use it once and it's gone.
I agree with that.
I have another question, but Sean, go while I'm looking up.
So, additional information. As we said the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, she is able to drop basically the mines while she's in the ball mode.
Yeah.
While she is in movement. So
Yeah.
she can go on the offense while she is evading, correct?
Yeah, and she can also use the basic energy mines to like drop one on herself and lift herself up a little bit in the morph ball mode.
Okay. So, increased evasion, basically.
Yeah, and the morph ball has like a little bit of a Sonic the Hedgehog type speed boost where it can charge up a little bit and have like an instant speed boost.
Okay. Can get away if needed.
The energy weapons also have, as far as I understand, no range limitation.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of as far as the eye can see whenever they shoot.
Yeah.
Any specific cooldowns that you know of with the weapons, or? And you don't have to get into specifics, just...
I think with the energy weapons, especially with the arm cannon upgrades to like the different elemental weapons, I want to say there's you can not so much a cooldown, but like an overheating effect, where if you use it too often, you have to take a break.
Okay. So you can't just spam, but with regular cannon blast, you can spam essentially.
Right. Yeah. With the basic arm cannon, you can spam it. With the energy ones, I think if you keep doing it too much, there's a cooldown.
Okay.
Period. It's been a while. Don't quote me.
No.
I'm sure somebody out there is a major Metroid Prime fan is just angrily yelling, "No, you moron!
It's wrong!"
Samus would have won if you weren't stupid."
Now, the better question is, Andrew, you ready to regale us with the tale of Doom Guy? Because it does look like you have transcripts of the entire game.
These are just the weapons and abilities. I left the transcript of the game since I did play through the game itself.
I left that novel on my shelf.
But I was trying to pull up a video of one thing. Okay, that'll help. If I needed to.
Death Battle, Doom Guy vs. Samus.
So,
He was looking for a Blast Radius video.
for Doom Guy, we said, for these two, we'll go full loadout, but I will not include any of the weapon upgrades he can get.
Are his weapons upgrades temporary?
No, they're permanent, but he has to collect them. So, in level 10...
So it's almost like a loadout. He can only get certain upgrades versus...
He can eventually get them all. You just unlock one at a time. So, his machine gun, I think, can get, 4 or 5 upgrades.
Oh, but you can only have one at a time, and if you want another one, you have to remove the one you currently have?
You get to keep that one.
Okay.
But you only get to access one at a time. It gives you a menu, pick which one you want, you add it, and then next time you get to unlock one, you get to pick another one.
This sounds very similar to Samus, so I guess I don't, at the risk of hurting my own position. I guess I don't understand how it's different. But if you've played the game and I haven't, I'll trust your word.
I haven't played Metroid Prime, so.
Have you-
Alright,
have you played
the
Doom?
weapon upgrades, they don't increase his ability to kill very much, so I can include him if you want. Like, there's nothing that would make him OP with them. It's like,
Okay.
he gets increased fire rates, quicker reloads, for like shotguns that get stronger, like recoil blast, things like that.
Okay, so it lets him do what he already does, just better.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really
it
don't-
makes him Peacemaker over what's-his-face from Suicide Squad 2, when he says, he does the same thing I do, just better.
So, Deadshot.
Yeah. So,
And essentially, if we're getting down to who can pull a trigger faster, I think we've gotten too deep into the woods on this argument.
so with Doom Guy, because he is technically raised from the dead, / created directly by God, spoiler, unspoiler, he has...
If you haven't played Doom on every device known to man at this point,
Well,
shame on you.
It's just Eternal. This is just Eternal.
Yeah.
Different Doom
there's a
Guy
plot.
than the original.
It's a game that's only 6 years old.
Yeah. So he's got superhuman strength. He can rip and tear apart opponents, mainly
2 years
demons
old.
and cyborgs. He is super durable, so hits don't slow him down. Like if he's taking shots, his speed doesn't decrease. I mean, he does have extra stamina, so no item weight slows him down in the game. Like if you're carrying a pistol versus if you have the chain gun out, you don't move any slower. He also has super speed, so he can move faster, and he is also super smart, so he is a tactician. His armor in Doom Eternal does absorb energy around him and damage to him, which can give him extra health, extra ammo, extra armor. He also, when he goes... If an enemy is off balance, like if he were to shoot someone like in the kneecap or bash somebody and they stutter backwards, he can do an insta-kill on them.
Wait, say that again.
If an enemy stutters or is off balance, he can do an insta-kill.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go through them all. There's a whole list of here of the insta-kills, but I'm not going to go through them all.
No, yeah,
he
that's-
just gets to insta-kill.
That's fine, yeah.
And depending on the enemy, it's his choice.
Fatality.
His weapons, he has a shit ton. But you mentioned the BFG. In Doom Eternal, it is actually the BFG 9000.
Of course.
It is more powerful than previous BFGs.
You're sure it's not the 9001?
I am positive. I checked it on the list. It is BFG. I thought it was a 10,000. It's 9,000, I'll admit. He has the Super Shotgun, which is a double-barrel shotgun. Just stronger, faster reloading. He starts with the Doom Blade. Now,
What is the Doom Blade?
it is... Alright, you know what? Fuck it. Like you said, the game's old. I can spoiler. It turns out the Doom Blade's his strongest weapon. It is a blade that comes out of his wrist that he uses to kill God. And not like someone opposing to God, like the God, the creator of everything. He stabs him in the fucking neck with it.
Does he have access to this all the time?
Yes.
He starts out the game with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
He starts... His starting loadout from the beginning of the game is the Super Shotgun, the Doom Blade, and the Chainsaw. So... I'm not going to go through all the fucking weapons and everything. Like I said, they can all be upgraded. And with it too, with his super abilities and his weapon loadout, he could either go on the attack immediately to try to finish off Samus early, or he could also play defense and just counterattack everything Samus does until he is able to get a killing blow with the Doom Blade or his shotgun. His speed, I cannot compare it to the Morph Ball speed. I cannot find any sort of unit measurement for this fuck. But even if she could go into Morph Ball, since he does not lose speed despite his guns that he has out, he could conceivably use the chain gun and just pepper the whole area hoping to hit her. or he could just pull out the BFG, which does require a charge to do the max damage. But since Samus's only attack in the Morph Ball is mines, as soon as Samus starts rolling around the ground, he could just follow, chase, or even just stand still with the BFG and just blow her straight to fucking hell. But no matter what Samus would do, he could counter it physically, and mentally he would be able to prepare for whatever she tried to throw at him.
I have a rebuttal prepared, but I'm gonna let the judges ask questions.
So I know you pulled up the video of the blast radius with the BFG. I watched it over his shoulder, so this is less me just asking a question, more or less relaying. When he fired the BFG, it was against an enemy that was the size of the entire room. It covered the screen. So
Yeah.
That's the BFG 9000 for you.
So I will say that. My one follow-up question would be, defensively, what do you think Doom Guy's strengths are?
So his strength is definitely in his armor and health rating. His at 100% for each, he can take a lot of damage. But like I said, his suit absorbs the energy around him as well as damage taken. So the armor can go up to 150% and the health can go to 200%.
What type of damage is he typically taking? Is it like small arms fire? Is it
Hellfire?
melee fire?
Yeah.
Hellfire.
Well, yeah, literally Hellfire is like the demon's base thing. And then there's different bosses. Like when he fights God, God uses a variety of weapons on him. Guns, swords, hammers, and even a mech suit.
God needs a mech suit. Okay.
Yes.
He's got the Doom Blade. God needed something to level up, and he still fucking won. When he's fighting the base things, it is Hellfire. Bullets if they're like zombified enemies. Getting bitten by the pig fucks. But yeah, usually Hellfire and bullets are standard enemies he's going against.
Okay. What? When the Doom guy gets killed, what typically does it?
Stupidity.
Yeah, it's usually stupidity. Because in the game, since it takes so much to kill him and his weapons do so much damage, it is usually not one single enemy, but like multiple enemies.
A swarm of enemies falling from a high distance, falling in lava. Yeah. Usually stupidity.
Usually when I die, I just try to take on 15 enemies at once. With the wrong one.
Okay.
Do you have any follow-up questions for Andrew before we get into rebuttals?
Not for Andrew, only because I'm familiar enough with Doom Eternal that I know what he's talking about.
By the way, even though I did spoil the ending, you should still play it.
Yes.
Any additional
who doesn't want
information
to
for
kill
the
God?
viewers that you could add to what he said?
No, he covered it pretty well. I actually do have a question, though, for Joe, going back to something previously that I wrote down, and I was trying to look at the answer. I couldn't find it.
Please. And
How experienced is Samus at this point in the series?
that's a good question. I don't know.
Because what
You
I was
have
reading,
to really look up some lore.
what I was reading is that Metroid Prime takes place between the original Metroid and the second Metroid.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out how much of a skilled, experienced bounty hunter is she at this point in the series.
It's honestly it's really hard to say because
Good question, though.
there's not a lot of like Samus's list is a bounty hunter, right? But like there's not a lot of lore of like her actually going and doing bounty hunting, and even the first Metroid doesn't give you much implication of how much experience she has before that point.
Is it?
So it's hard to
Because
say.
the first one, she's hired to do the job. That's why she's on the planet.
Okay.
Is it the game after Metroid Prime that it delves into her like origin story where she has daddy issues?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying that, though, is like, where in her experience is this? And that's what I was looking up, so there was not a definitive answer on that, which is why
I knew one of them was her having daddy issues in training. I just couldn't remember which one it was.
I will say that
I know that at least at this point, she's fought her like standard enemy, her standard like arch nemesis before, which is Ridley, the dragon type creature.
Yes.
She's fought him in the original Metroid.
Yep.
And you fight him twice in Prime.
Yes.
once in the beginning, and then once again as
Meta Ridley.
Meta or Mecha Ridley, where he's been like mechanically upgraded.
I will say that I would probably add that as a plus for Samus, because if you think about it, going through the dungeon type levels, there has to be some additional strategic skills. You know, you threw her in a maze and she didn't get lost, basically.
Yeah, Samus does do quite a bit of puzzle solving, and the goal of the game is actually not to kill things, but it's to acquire artifacts so you can solve a puzzle and you can get into like the final end room. Something also I'd like to add that I forgot to mention in my opening thing is Samus also has different visors because she's got the helmet. So she has like a regular vision, and then she's got like an X-ray vision and a thermal vision type thing, or like an infrared type vision. I think there's one more that I'm forgetting.
I will say that I would say that would be an edge for Samus, that bringing that knowledge base, the problem solving, I feel like Samus will be more strategic. Doom Guy's always been rip and tear. Mm-hmm. So, you know, he's not a man with a plan, but
his plan is going guns blazing.
Exactly. So I will say that I would give the strategic edge to Samus in this fight. So I will say that there will be more planning, and moves will be more thought out by Samus.
That's what I'm thinking. So, rebuttal. Sway me one way or the other.
I have prepared a rebuttal to the, what's the sword item called? The
Doomblade.
The Doomblade. It's the same issue as the energy sword in Halo. It's super powerful, but it's very limited range, right? Samus is built almost entirely around ranged weapons. Samus has, at least in Metroid Prime, almost no or arguably zero melee combat. So I don't feel the Doomblade. Yeah, it's if you can land. It's a Falcon Punch scenario, right? Like if you can land a hit, it's an insta kill. But Samus can just probably by default anyway is going to be keeping a fair amount of distance, and she's got a freeze ray, so at least you could envision a world where he pulls out the Doomblade, freeze that motherfucker, and just blast him with shit until he falls apart.
I will say.
And even if he gets too close, too close with the blade, morph ball, haul your ass out of there.
Thank you.
Morph back into standing mode and just keep hammering them.
I will add that if she did see that he has a giant sword, she wouldn't let him close the gap.
Right. Yeah. So the only way I feel he hits her with the giant sword is if somehow he closes the gap and then pulls it out and uses it in one quick motion. Which I feel doesn't, again, because Samus is built around ranged attacks, I feel that doesn't, that sounds unlikely.
Fair enough. Is that the end of your rebuttal?
It is.
Alright. So Doom Guy has two close weapons. That, the chainsaw. Everything else is ranged.
I'm going to argue right now, Chainsaw is useless against Samus' power suit. It's almost like an Iron Man type suit.
But the thing is, he's not going to need it. So, he can go with the chain gun, which is a Gatling gun, and just pepper the whole area. He can go out with the BFG and just blow up the whole fucking half of the room. He has the super shotgun, which is more close range, but still, we have seen at the gun range what shotgun shells will do. They will just spread it across the entire area. So while he does go guns blazing, he is still super smart in that, like, he is always modifying his guns himself. And he is a trained space marine. Prior to death, when he was revived, he's still the same person. So he would still have tactical knowledge and combat experience, knowing how to deal with another enemy.
That said, Samus' primary antagonists are space pirates, and she's very good at defeating them.
And his primary antagonists are demons, and
God.
demons, and God, and demons that have possessed other soldiers.
I don't know, man. I don't want to hurt my own position, but this sounds pretty evenly balanced.
And with Doom Guy 2, with his speed and durability, he could try to close the gap But the fact that he could move just as fast without anything as he could while carrying the Gatling gun or the BFG means he could almost, like I said, I can't speak speed for speed, but he could at least move with Samus and keep it up. Worst case scenario, he can set the Gatling gun up as a turret. And he could just pepper the whole area until Samus is dead and stops moving.
I will say, what is kind of the ammunition on the Gatling gun?
So, I don't know if it has any...
I know
Special.
it probably won't have
Magic Infinite.
measurements in there, but
I'm going to find out for you.
NATO 5.62.
how many units?
How many units of bullets does it hold?
And as far
Because that's one thing that I would say. Like, yes, that would be additional coverage, but as we know, Samus has certain weapons that don't run out of ammo.
Yeah.
And I do feel like Samus is going to have improved evasion. Especially over Doom Guy, which, like I said, he doesn't get out of the way of things. He goes.
If you watch the cutscenes in Metroid Prime, Samus does quite a bit of evading. She's fairly agile.
doesn't seem like very bullet.
Lo and behold, like we said, BFG 9000, if he can get it off, I feel is our deal breaker in this one. Because obviously those are the kind of weapons that wipe out everything.
So my question about that, though, is does the BFG 9000 rip through armor? And if it does, why doesn't it rip through Doom Guy's armor?
Because it's firing forward, the blast doesn't come backwards.
So it's like...
So it's area of effect cone outwards?
Yeah, it's cone outward.
Is that what we're saying?
So the max ammo before reloading on the chain gun is 180,
A chain gun's gonna burn through underneath.
and it can
bullets
fire up to
fast.
750 rounds per minute, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you don't have 750 rounds.
That's gonna literally be like 750 rounds a minute, but you gotta reload it at
That's-
180. That's gonna be several seconds.
So with the chain gun, he could get off,
He's gonna have
180
one
and
fast.
like a split of a sec. Like
Yeah, he's
a
gonna
second.
have one like 5-second burst, and it's gonna go.
So it is literally like us trying to use the chain gun in our Nerf war.
So if he did try to start off with the chain gun, that's 180 bullets instantly that he could just pepper in front of him.
As we've learned, it's more an intimidation tactic.
Yep.
Drops out of that, goes to the BFG. He can move while charging it, which only takes in game about like 3 seconds to charge,
Okay.
and then it is just a huge explosion forward.
By the end of Metroid Prime, Samus has energy tank upgrades where it's just a larger health bar. I don't know if you want to count that, but there's nothing in the Metroid Prime games that insta-kills Samus.
And that's the other thing with Doom Guy.
Now, I don't know if the BFG counts as that, but yeah.
So I just gotta give you this scenario that just came into my mind. So essentially, if he's shooting the BFG, Samus would essentially just have to roll towards him.
I was wrong.
Right, yeah.
Doom Guy
I was
but-
thinking that.
As soon as she gets in close, he could hit her with the Doom Blade.
So Doom Guy can run it at a speed of 57 miles per hour.
What the fuck?
And that is not slowed down by his weapons.
Hey, we got actual units of measure.
Yeah. As if you go to page 10. So he can move at 57 miles per hour, which it says he's capable of outrunning his own rockets.
What?
And
What type of rocket goes slower than 57 miles an hour?
He can also dodge rockets from cyber demons.
this would have been a good to have in the beginning.
Right.
He can dodge gunfire from former humans.
He's a fucking gazelle.
So I don't know what the fuck this means, but you guys are smart, so you might. He can perceive blasts from the BFG, which made it from the base of Phobos to Mars in less than 3 seconds.
What
Which
the
is-
hell?
3,126,667
So he has the
milliseconds.
sight.
He has faster than light perception.
Jesus.
He can also
This is
perceive distant lightning bolts during the battle against the Icon of Sin.
Can avoid meteors.
Yeah, he's not OP at all, no.
He can withstand even deadly attacks that would otherwise... These are his normal things, these are not upgrades. Can withstand crippling attacks and can move normally even if near death. So if he's one hit away from death, he doesn't slow down. He can fall from great heights. Survived a temple being brought down on top of him.
Ooh. Alright.
Unharmed by his own ice grenades, which can flash freeze enemies. Can survive attacks from skyscraper-sized Icon of Sin.
They also, under his durability, says they were unable to harm the Praetor suit with anything they had during their testing.
And that's the base suit he wears.
So then how does he die?
So, but that's also probably normal gunfire, not, energy
Yes,
attacks.
that's the UAC.
Okay.
So I would say energy attacks are still going to hurt his armor and will kill him.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna leave it up to the judges to determine whether this is OP madness or not.
These are his base things. I can't help. I can't help you on that one. These are
His
all-
base thing, he runs 56 miles an hour. Fucking
Fought as-
Olympic sprinters are like, what?
Uh,
The Flash is like, whoa, who's that guy running faster than me?
Man, he's moving faster than Sweet Tooth's van.
I mean, he's moving faster than low-level highway traffic.
yeah.
I don't even know if Sweet Tooth can get on the highway.
Under skills listed, traveled to hell and defeated demons in their own territory.
I mean, Samus has defeated monsters in their own
Obliterated the
territory,
cyber demon once again after it was rebuilt.
Well, I would say that Ridley's on par with the
Yeah.
Cyber Demon.
too. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I'm starting to feel
So-
like this is situation dependent.
Killed the gladiator,
totally.
the third hell priest's guardian, and proceeded to kill the priest.
Well, the
So-
one thing I will say too that's annoying about this part, technically in Doom Eternal, the previous games are both canon but not canon.
That's convenient.
So some of the feats of strength, I don't know if those are truly canon.
What am I gonna read next? Doom
Because-
guy bench presses God.
Because Doom
No,
Eternal
he just had God.
was actually a sequel to the remake Doom from 2016. So technically, like, 3, we don't even really know if 3 is canon or not. Even in the original trilogy. But we don't know if anything past Doom 1 is actually canon. So we could knock off like 4 feats of strength. So, regardless of his speed, it's not going to increase his reaction time. Like, yes, he has a better chance of dodging these attacks. But that doesn't mean he's going to be more likely to pull a trigger faster than a suit that, is literally a reflex-based shot. So I will say trigger firing, I feel like Samus is going to have the advantage, even if it's just barely.
Hey, we got
I
one
think-
thing we said we didn't want to get into.
I would say I think I have
Right.
to. Sean and I think we're both on the same page of thinking that, tactically speaking, Samus has the upper hand here. Like, don't get me wrong, Doom Guy is
OP as can be.
OP and stacked to the nines, but truly, even though, because I've played several of the Metroid games as well as Doom Eternal, there's puzzles in both, but there are way more puzzles in Samus's series. So she is more of a tactical mind rather than a combat-oriented.
Samus solves puzzles in the morph ball mode.
Well, not just that, but she solves them, like, all over. Like, it's
Oh yeah, I'm saying like all over, and even when she's not like physically looking
yeah.
at him.
What I'm saying, though, is, like, she's planning everything. Whereas Doom Guy is going along until he hits a wall and has to figure out how to get past it.
Here's another target. Boom.
Whereas Samus is going, okay, I have to get here. Oh, there's a blockade. Well, I'm sure I have to go do something else, figure it out, and 800 steps later finally gets back to that.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm thinking that she has that longevity thinking.
Another thing, too, because I'm not sure which way to go yet. So going back to our first tournament, one of the things that we gave Laura Croft the advantage over Barry Burton is that the majority of the people Barry Burton shoots at are mindless.
Right.
You know, and that's going to be the same case with these demons. That these are targets that aren't thinking.
They just kind
that are just kind of, you know, going after you because you're the, you know, the objective.
Whereas the enemies Samus goes after, the Metroids are sentient, intelligent beings that have
Living
wiped out
brains.
entire they've wiped out entire planets. The space pirates, Ridley, like most of her enemies are conscious thinking individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to counter that, all of the, at least the higher enemies and bosses that Doom Guy fights, they are sentient beings. And the demons, the low demons, are the base demons, and even above them, you get to the actual beings that are from hell, and they are critical thinking, compared to the ones that just possess the soldiers.
Sure.
So he still does have to do that.
But those are boss fights, so they're harder for him.
Well, not all of them.
Not all, yeah, there are some.
And then with it too, you know, going back to the tactical advantage, in a wide open firefight, I don't know how much advantage that gives her, because even Doom Guy, as the, like, Mars base and everything and the ships are exploding around him, he still's navigating those pathways, but even that, like...
But he's familiar with the Mars base.
I'm gonna put this forward. We've jokingly said, Final Destination, no items.
Mm-hmm.
What is this battlefield? That's something we haven't talked about.
I was always picturing just an open arena.
Honestly, I just figured they were on something in space, like both of them.
I mean...
Hell, they could be on Mars for all it matters.
Space Coliseum from Dexter's Lab.
I feel like it's going to be, like...
I'm down.
You could, just for the sake of argument, you could say
Well,
Final
the Macho
Destination...
Man is there.
No items, right? But, like, you know, some, like, not to get, like, too into it, but he says half an hour into this. I feel like a most reasonable place they might meet is kind of like a space base or a spaceship or something, like a Mars base or on board a spaceship out there somewhere. So it's going to have, like, it's going to be relatively narrow corridors, it's going to be obstructions, it's going to be doors,
So for sake of
passages.
argument, let's say that neither one has an advantage field-wise.
Yeah.
Because both are used to that kind of situation. That was...
Yeah.
Whether we're looking at
Space
wide
Marine
open
versus
arena
Space
or...
Mercenary.
Yeah, it's...
Right.
Okay.
Whereas Samus might know how to get around corridors, Doom Guy's just blowing holes in the wall.
Yeah.
Like, still
He's
coming.
blowing up the corridor.
He's the space juggernaut. Bitch.
So I don't think we can make any other arguments, so I think...
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your
Deliberating.
decisions?
So... I'll be honest. At the beginning of this, before the argument was even made, I was on Doom Guy's side. I 100% was like, oh, he's the winner.
If it matters at all, for whatever reason, on one of the websites I looked at, listed as Doom Guy's weakness was Animal Crossing.
Oh, yeah, because Isabel.
Hey.
He
Yeah.
loves Isabel.
Yeah, so I don't... In a space battle, that doesn't have any implication, but I did want to mention that he is a fan of Isabel.
Yeah.
Who Samus has met
Yeah.
Ooh.
So...
and defeated.
I don't feel like she's gonna become easily aware of this weakness during a regular fight.
All I know, regardless, is when I went into this at the beginning when we first started this video, 100% I was on Doom Guy's side, but it wasn't your argument actually that swayed me.
I'll take it.
It was the conversation that we all kind of adapted into on how each one of these individuals would go into it.
So 25% of it was me. Thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't 100% you, it was 25% you. It's a tough call. Both are getting a redemption here. Shot of redemption, I should say.
But there can be only one.
There can be only one. I want to say, strictly from a tactical standpoint, I think Samus has the upper hand here. I think she can figure out a way to, at the very least, trap Doom Guy long enough. I don't think it's a permanent thing because we've seen he survives skyscrapers and crap like that. Like, he's surviving no matter what. But I think from a certain standpoint, I can see Samus getting him into a trap that stops him just long enough that she can do enough damage to take him down. Because as you said, he doesn't slow down when he gets hit. But he can be one hit away from death and still be going as fast. If she can get him essentially in a pit where he can't get out, she's got a
Is a pit in our battlefield, though.
I mean,
But that's what I'm saying. Like she gets set up because she has the remote bombs that she has with the morph ball. She could set up essentially a pit to get Doom Guy
she
stuck.
doesn't necessarily even need a pit. She's got a freeze ray. She can freeze him in place, go up close, drop a bomb, retreat.
Like I'm seeing
There's
that
scenarios.
there is a tactical way that Samus wins this fight. I think straight out fist for fist, Doom Guy wins, but I think on the tactical side, the intelligence side, I think Samus has the upper hand, so that's why my vote is going towards Samus.
So, while I'm saying why, I guess you both can figure out what the hell we do for a tie. Because I'm the exact opposite. I went into this thinking that Samus has this. Mostly because Samus is literally our human equivalent Mega Man X in this tournament. And for the same reasons that Mega Man X won last time are the same arguments you can make about Samus. The one problem, and the one thing that I keep going back to, is the amount of firepower Doom Guy has.
Yeah.
The varied weapons between long range, mid range, short range. The fact that if, for whatever reason, he got off the BFG shot, the only way that Samus would be able to get away from that shot is if she closed the gap on Doom Guy. And as we said, closing the gap is the one thing that keeps Samus from losing this fight. Well, from winning this fight. As soon as that gap is closed, we are in Doomblade range.
Yeah.
And I feel like once a Doomblade shot gets off, this is over. So I kind of have to say the Doom Guy's going to get this just on the variety of weapons and the fact that he does have the edge with the close range melee attacks.
Coin flip?
I will say, if the judges cannot agree, let's go to a coin flip. I feel like it's the fairest thing.
Do we want to do maybe a sudden death where pepper the judges with different scenarios?
I don't think we can at this point.
I'm
It's
saying
been 40 minutes of us telling them everything about these characters. I don't think there is anything.
And to me, in all honesty, both characters got a redemption on this one.
Like there's no disappointment on who makes it and who doesn't, because this was a hard fought battle.
And in there's situations where, 5 times out of 10, either one wins.
Yeah, because I can see in a BFG situation, it doesn't destroy the environment, it destroys everything that's in there. Samus could reasonably find a place to hide, especially in the morph ball. Like, I can see situations where she gets out of it without going towards him, but at the same time, I see both sides of that argument way too well, so I think...
It's very, very context.
Who's this coin flip app brought to us by, Andrew?
By DraftKings. Sponsor me, please.
I wish. Let's see.
I don't think you can bet on DraftKings if they sponsor
From iHandy Limited.
All right, thank you, iHandy Limited. You can flip a coin with us at home. There's probably an ad.
No, get out of here. I don't care about Gronk. He's not in the Super Bowl. I'm not betting on him. All right, we will flip a standard American quarter. Okay,
All right.
Joe. Since you are higher ranked, I will let you pick heads or tails.
Picking heads.
All right. It's flipping. It's flipping. It's flipping.
It is heads.
It is heads.
Huzzah.
Samus moves on via coin toss.
That was hard fought.
Yes.
And in the
like
end,
I said-
decided by luck, as such a fight would be.
Exactly. I don't think that sums up this fight any better. That this is truly going to come down to the situation. And in all honesty, I think that Samus would be accounting for that extra little luck to pull this one off.
Yeah, to be fair, the next flip came tails, so it would be 5-5 and a 10-person.
All right.
We gotta call it there. That's poetic.
Let us know, guys, if you agree. I'm sure you will disagree.
I don't care
That's
if you
fine.
disagree, because Doom Guy's not coming back.
No.
This is his final chance. He's dead. In
You
fact,
hear that, Hollywood? No more Doom movies.
well, Doom movies can still happen. But then after this round 2, Samus is done too. So your little love childs, they're all dead.
So what's our next one?
The next one is gonna be the number 3 Alpha Snorlax taking on number 14 Diddy Kong from Donkey Kong 64. Can the Peanut Blaster kill a Pokemon
Peanut Popcorn.
that can kill a god? We'll find out.
Join us.
Scoop! Scooby!